Green Bay Packers family night was last night, a scrimmage / practice held in Lambeau, an event that no other team around the NFL can do it quite like the Green Bay Packers. They had over 59,000 fans in attendance. Every single year we get hyped up for family night, usually the week before the first preseason game. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to watch it live as I was away this weekend, but I just got done watching the entire family night practice. So of course I have all the highlights from family night for you guys to show you in today's video in case you missed family night like I did, or just simply want a quick video recap of everything that happened in last night's practice. If you happen to be stopping by the channel for the first time, or a return viewer that has yet to subscribe, I'd greatly appreciate it if you went down and hit that subscribe button. We're nearing 65,000 subscribers. Again, thank you guys so much for all the endless support. If you do in fact hit subscribe, you'll stay in the loop with everything Green Bay Packers throughout the entire rest of the offseason, preseason, then into the season. I post videos such as highlight videos and takeaways after every single day of practice, live streams during the NFL season, and everything Green Bay Packers news, analysis, and updates. Really appreciate it if you guys did go and click subscribe. All right, so let's get this thing started and let's dive right into it. And first, we have some of the quarterbacks attempting to hit the net, and the first quarterback to do so was Sean Clifford. It took them a while to actually hit the net throw. They were doing it from like 45 yards back and ended up making it here from the 15-yard line or so about 25-yard throw. And Clifford was the first quarterback to do so. If you guys aren't familiar with family night, it runs like a regular practice. Starts with the warm-ups, the quarterback's throwing it to the net, and then we have 1v1s and then a scrimmage, kind of a half live scrimmage, and then it ends with a full live tackling session with the backups. But Sean Clifford, the first quarterback to make it in the net, does a funny cartwheel there and celebrates after being the first quarterback to do so. Clifford definitely fighting for that third quarterback spot on the practice squad between himself and the Canadian quarterback Taylor Elgersma. But Jordan Love quickly thereafter found the net from the same throw. He actually hit it twice in this period here. This is the second time, and I'm just showcasing this one because family night's all about fun and just showcasing, a fun practice, a fun atmosphere to show up and watch the Green Bay Packers practice. Again, no other team around the NFL does it quite like the Green Bay Packers, but a nice throw by Jordan Love finding the net, and then you love to see him and the other quarterbacks jump up into the stands to do that traditional Lambeau leap, and an awesome Grinch costume, the guy right next to Jordan Love there on the left. In years past, other family nights, they showed a lot more 1v1 reps. I was a little disappointed that they talked about 1v1s and how it's the most competitive section of practice, and yet the TV crew really didn't show many 1v1. This first one at the top of the screen, circling it here at the top here, is Anthony Belton versus Barron Sorrell, a 1v1 pass protection drill. You can see they're simulating an offensive line with a center, left guard, and left tackle, and Barron Sorrell does a really nice job against Anthony Belton here. And Barron Sorrell had a lot of good reps in family night's practice, specifically against Anthony Belton. You can see the very end there. He even just straight up bull rushes Belton almost into the ground where he would slip and fall. Really nice rep by Barron Sorrell. I know a lot of fans have been asking about Sorrell and how he's been doing in training camp and practice. And I think he's been having a really solid camp as a rotational depth edge rusher. And again, puts on a really nice 1v1 rep here against another rookie that they drafted before him in second round pick Anthony Belton out of NC State. Here's a rep of Jordan Love throwing to McCole Hardman on the bottom of the screen, a simple 9 route, and Kalen King does a really good job in coverage here. McCole Hardman has been super impressive in camp thus far, and I heard he also had a really nice rep against Javon Bullard in 1v1s where he absolutely toasted him, but they didn't show a lot of these receiver versus defensive back 1v1s. I think only like 3 of them, which is really unfortunate. I appreciate the Packers streaming this now on their website. Obviously, if you guys have been a part of the channel, in years past, we were on my channel playing Madden, which was basically showing you guys family night. So shout out to the Packers actually streaming it now. But they have to do a little bit better with showcasing, what we want to see. Some of the 1v1s and whatnot, those are very fun to watch. At least that's what I think. But this is a really nice rep by Kalen King here to remain physical. Obviously, Mecole Hardman has a ton of speed, one of the faster players on this team, and King does a good job kind of forcing him to the outside, getting a hand on the back of his jersey just a little bit there. Don't believe that would be called as a hold in game. Just a really, really good rep. A little bit of an overthrown ball by Love, but I think Kalen King kind of interfering with Mecole Hardman definitely affected this to be an incomplete pass. Now, the Packers did post a 1v1 that probably wasn't shown live on stream, and it's Malik Willis throwing a 9-ball to Malik Heath, who just absolutely mosses 7th-round rookie Micah Robinson. I mean, it's not a family night practice if it doesn't include a Malik Heath, head tap 1v1 rep, because I believe he had one last year as well. Does it here against Micah Robinson. You can't not love Malik Heath. This is a guy that continues to fight for a roster spot every single year and showcases why he's valuable on this roster. And we'll see if he ends up making it yet again here in 2025. He's got an uphill battle because guys like Mecole Hardman have been practicing so well, but we'll see what ends up happening. Just a great rep there against Micah Robinson. Now, of course, all eyes were on Matthew Golden, the rookie out of Texas, rookie wide receiver that's been having a very, very good camp thus far. So I'm going to show you all the clips of Matthew Golden, whether it's a complete pass or an incomplete pass. Here's Jordan Love firing over the middle to Matthew Golden. Javon Bullard in tight coverage to make the tackle quickly thereafter. A quick completion from Love to Golden, just building that rapport. Now here's Love trying to find Matthew Golden deep on the left side. Golden versus Bo Melton, and just a little bit too much, a little bit of an overthrow here by Jordan Love. And this is what practice is for. There's a lot of discourse over on X saying Jordan Love had a horrible practice. I don't really necessarily see it as that. Could he have practiced better? Yeah, sure. But again, we're talking about a practice here, and you're always going to be trying new things, trying to give your players a shot. It's a vanilla style offense. I have no worries of Jordan Love entering into 2025. Can he clean up some things and can he get better? Yeah, every single player can. And that's what you're here to practice for. So he's got to continue to build this rapport with Matthew Golden to be able to connect on this deep in season. That's why you're out here taking these reps, taking the 9 shots. Matthew Golden versus Bo Melton, just a little bit off there. Would have loved to see that one connect here. Here's another Jordan Love to Matthew Golden. Quick connection over the left side. Caught by Matthew Golden for a nice gain there. He's been starting with the ones for about the past week. It seems like every single day of practice. And I don't see at this rate that Matthew Golden isn't a starter at wide receiver come week 1. Here's Jordan Love finding Matthew Golden on the sideline at the top of the screen. This was during the 2-minute drill. So Jordan Love got up the line quickly, found Matthew Golden on the sideline, and he had to get out of bounds to stop the clock to allow Brandon McManus to come and kick a field goal for the win, right, in the 2-minute drill. Really nice job. I like seeing them building the chemistry here in a situation that the clock is running. You need to get a few more yards to make the kick a little bit easier. Really nice back shoulder connection from Jordan Love to Matthew Golden. Obviously, we've talked about Matthew Golden, and one thing that you really like about him is his body control, and you can see it here on the outside. And another thing is his hands. The guy doesn't really seem to drop anything. I think he's had a couple drops in camp thus far, but nothing to really noteworthy. And it seems like he has very sure hands, and he's someone that Jordan Love is going to be able to trust in a situation like this, where the clock is running, right? And you need to be able to also get out of bounds, and that's what Matthew Golden does here really, really well. Now, in this play, it's the last Golden clip I have. Golden kind of comes inline here, and I saw this play, and I don't know if many people noticed it, but he does a really good job run blocking here out of the inline position. The Packers used Allen Lazard like this a lot. He was more of a bigger-bodied style receiver that you can almost call a tight end at some points. Matthew Golden is a smaller framed, lighter, shorter wide receiver, and he does a really good job following through here on this block here with Evan Williams to allow Josh Jacobs to bounce to the outside and gain nice yards, maybe even a touchdown, but in game probably tackled at like 3 or 4 yard line. Carrington Valentine there getting a nice tackle. But I wanted to highlight this and show you guys because it's interesting that the Packers, already showcasing Matthew Golden and his ability to be able to also run block, which we know is very important for Packers wide receivers, and he does a really nice job here. You also see Musgrave doing a nice job kind of getting the contain on Lucas Van Ness, And then also, again, Matthew Golden shooting right through that gap and getting a nice block on safety Evan Williams. A defensive player that continues to impress and just stacking success on success, which is just great to hear, is Lucas Van Ness. Jordan Morgan got the full-time start at left tackle in last night's practice because Rasheed Walker is out with injury. And you could look at this and go, Lucas Van Ness, amazing rep, or you could look at this and go, terrible rep by Jordan Morgan. I think it's a little bit of both. I don't think it's, oh, Jordan Morgan is absolutely terrible, and that's the only reason Lucas Van Ness is winning. He's been doing so against Rasheed Walker. He's been doing so pretty much the entire past week. He's been having really, really good practices, and he has a would-be sack here on Jordan Love, and man, we need this. We need Lucas Van Ness to take this year 3 jump, and it's a little unfortunate to see Jordan Morgan, struggle so much here in this practice. It has happened more than once where he's sitting at left tackle, and you're kind of sitting there going, he doesn't look too natural at left tackle, but he's also been stretched between 2 positions over the past year and a half, so he's got to get comfortable at one. The writing's not on the wall for Jordan Morgan, but I really, really like this rep here by Lucas Van Ness to get the would-be sack. LVN at the top of the screen here also does a really nice job at setting the edge against John Fitzpatrick, really just showing his strength, which has been something he's done all of camp, really just moving Fitzpatrick out of the way with one arm, and this would be a tackle for no gain in this practice, but obviously it's not a live tackling session and you really aren't supposed to tackle the players. But I think in a real game session, this is a tackle at the line of scrimmage by Lucas Van Ness on the running back for a no gain. Really just showcasing his power here against Fitzpatrick, just using one arm to just move him out of the way. And this isn't the first time it's happened in camp. Lucas Van Ness has kind of thrown players down like Romeo Dobbs on an end around with one arm. He's really showcasing his strength, his athleticism, and it's great to see here in camp. I hope it does translate into a game sense here in 2025. Of course, Edgerrin Cooper made some plays last night. You can see him here at the linebacker position on an end around to Matthew Golden, shoots right through that, and it would be a tackle for loss 100%. And we see a play like this from Edgerrin Cooper. It seemed like every week last year where he gets a tackle for loss or he completely blows up a play. And that's exactly what he did here. I like the little wrinkle by the offense, fake handoff, end around to Golden, just, seeing what he can do in that situation. Should have been better blocking. Zach Tom really doesn't block well on the edge here on Edgerrin Cooper and allows him to get right through for a would-be tackle for loss. Here's another rep by Cooper lining right up, head up over the center. Pre-snap, Packers showing, pretty much heavy pressure. And we've seen this last year where Edgerrin Cooper got some sacks on some quarterbacks where right off the snap, kind of hesitates, loops over top. And I think that would be a sack on Jordan Love. He does end up getting the ball out and firing across to Luke Musgrave. Musgrave got a lot of action last night as Tucker Kraft was out with a groin injury. It's a day-to-day groin injury. But again, we saw this so much from Edgerrin Cooper last year, and we're going to see it even more this year. Has tons of explosion, and when I went over his tape coming out of Texas A&M, I couldn't stop using the terminology of shot out of a cannon, and that's exactly what it looks like here from Edgerrin Cooper, being able to get after the quarterback. Nice job by Zach Tom at least getting a hand on him on the end there, so maybe this doesn't end up in a sack, but still, you like to see it at least of a pressure and what Edgerrin Cooper's able to do out of that look. Here's the final one I have of Edgerrin Cooper at linebacker to see how explosive he is, pulling center, should I say, Elton Jenkins, and Edgerrin Cooper just gets right in there, remains physical, slams right into Elton Jenkins, and really just blows up this run play. Probably ends up going for no gain in a real game sense. Now, Jacobs ends up cutting it back across the middle of the field because, again, it's not live tackling, but a great rep by Coop there. The player of the day on defense was safety Omar Brown, an undrafted guy last year out of Nebraska that I actually really liked coming out of that draft. He had 3 interceptions last night's practice, which gives him now a total of 5 interceptions during training camp. And he's making a point to say, hey, I deserve to be on this 53-man roster, getting a really nice interception, just floating back in this middle zone on Malik Willis, trying to fire it into Julian Hicks between another 2 defenders. Just not a good read by Malik Willis there, but that's his first interception. And here is his second. It's going to be on Taylor Elgersma. Now, one thing I want to note there, look who almost and would have sacked Taylor Elgersma in a live setting. That's Katana Ladapo. He kind of just, obviously lets up, and you're not supposed to tackle the quarterback, so that makes sense. Now, Elgersma would have gotten sacked by maybe 3 separate players here, but obviously just throws it, tries to give his player a chance. It's broken up, and there's Omar Brown, right place, right time on that one. But again, really like seeing Katana Oladapo here out of the box or the nickel position. and getting a nice nickel pressure on the outside here, beating Israel Abanikanda there, and would have got a sack. Ends up in an interception for Brown, number 2. Here's Omar Brown's third interception, and it's against Malik Willis. Really nice pass protection. You see Belton to Kadeem Telford on the right side. Malik Willis throws it deep left side. It's tipped up yet again by Omar Brown, and he still comes down with it, making a spectacular acrobatic catch here for his third interception of the night. He absolutely balled out last night. And the Packers safety room, right now, the only locks are Evan Williams, Xavier McKinney, Javon Bullard, and that's it. Guys like Katana Ladapo, Zane Anderson, now Omar Brown are all fighting for a couple spots there. And obviously a lot of it has to do with special teams, but you can't overlook a guy like Omar Brown, who's just been balling out in practice, just getting interceptions after interceptions. And the Packers might see that and go, hey, we need to keep this guy on the roster or else another team's going to get him. And maybe he makes it over someone like Zane Anderson if they also like what they see, what he's doing on special teams. We know Zane's more of that special teams guy, but Omar Brown, again, undrafted out of Nebraska, guy I really liked in the 2024 draft, definitely making his case for this roster. Here we have Packers third-round rookie Savion Williams going to be making a nice catch over the middle from quarterback Malik Willis. I like that pre-snap motion. Savion kind of faking, hey, I could get a handoff here, which I'm sure the Packers will run with and will do sometimes. And Savion catches it over the middle, puts a nice move on. I think that's Katana Ladapo. Really nice job by this offensive line and this offense to create enough time to allow this deep dig to get open over the middle here. You have someone going vertical, and then you have Savion coming over the middle on a deep dig, and that concept gets him wide open for a huge gain. First we're really seeing of Savion this training camp. Haven't seen too many clips of him. He was also out with a concussion for a bit there, and that's why I think he's wearing the Guardian cap now, but nice to see him making a big play last night. So now let's go over all the other Jordan Love plays that I have recorded for this video. This one's going to be a quick throw over the middle to Jaden Reed, kind of just finding that open zone in the middle of the field and catches it at the 3-yard line. Isaiah Simmons there probably really quickly to make the tackle in a live sense. Now he does get in the end zone. It's considered a touchdown for a practice sense, but really nice job of Jaden Reed just finding that open zone in between McDuffie, in between Isaiah Simmons, and the Packers are running mesh here. 2 receivers crossing underneath, wheel by the running back, third receiver doing a sit right in the middle of those 2 linebackers, and Love had a lot of options. He had Dobbs, he had Musgrave, he went for Reed. After McDuffie started to bite down on Musgrave there. Nice find by Jordan Love here in this practice. Here we have Jordan Love firing deep on play action for Romeo Dobbs, and again, just a little too much. Just got to nail this down, and I like that they're working this through in practice to really hone in on this deep ball, something that Jordan Love definitely has to work on. We saw last year him miss on a lot of deep throws, and sometimes you're sitting there going, that's a little bit too much under it, too much of an overthrow, or it's severely underthrown, so definitely got to work on this. Again, you see Jordan Morgan getting beat by Lucas Van Ness there, and Love has to climb up. Does a nice job climbing the pocket and at least airing it out there to give his receiver a chance, just a little bit too much on it. McKinney trailing in coverage. Here we have Jordan Love finding Romeo Dobbs across the middle, running an absolutely disgusting route. I wish they showed another angle of this, but Dobbs at the top really faking to the outside. You see it right at the end there, cutting back inside and making a strong-handed catch there over, I think that was Gregory Jr., the corner they brought in a couple months ago, fighting to try to make a spot on this roster. But really nice route by Dobbs. Great timing throw by Jordan Love. And Dobbs does this a lot. Just a strong-handed wide receiver that will make plays for your quarterback. Here we have a simple yet effective PA bootleg. Jordan Love finding Luke Musgrave on the outside. That's what I want to see more of for Luke Musgrave. Make it easy, right? Get him in space where you can find him quickly and he can go to work. He's a fast tight end. He can get upfield, yards after the catch. Really nice to see a lot of Luke Musgrave in last night's practice in the absence of Tucker Kraft. Also just more play action, right? Last year really went away from play action because Jordan Love was injured and we couldn't utilize play action as much. So nice to see it here, finding the wide open Luke Musgrave in the PA boot slide concept here, and nice to see for Musgrave. And speaking of Love's injured 2024 season, another thing we've been missing is scrambling Jordan Love, the ability to extend plays, climb the pocket, and then run left for a big gain here. Nice job by Love, really climbing this pocket. It's in man coverage, and usually if it's in man coverage, your quarterback is going to have an opportunity to run. And what I've noticed last night as well, the Packers are running on defense so many stunts, just trying to confuse this offensive line a bunch, and a lot of the time it did work, but Jordan Love did a good job climbing this pocket and getting loose for a big gain here in this 11v11 session. Now here was a very poor throw by Jordan Love, but I think Matthew Golden also got bumped off of his route here, and it ends up with an easy interception for Carrington Valentine, who just continues to make plays in training camp, continues to come up with the football. That might be his third or fourth interception in camp thus far. Jordan Love just trying to give Matthew Golden a shot on the outside, throws it too much to the inside. Golden kind of gives up on the route a little bit, but I think he was bumped, maybe would have been called defensive pass interference in a game sense. I'm not too worried about this, not too moved by it. I'm not looking at this going, Jordan Love has regressed or anything like that. I've seen people saying that, which is pretty comical to me, considering it's just a practice. Now, if this happens in season, then yeah, there's a cause for concern, but I don't mind Jordan Love just throwing it up there, giving his new rookie wide receiver a chance, but would like to see Golden fight for that a little bit more. But again, I think he was bumped off his route, but other than that, great play by Carrington Valentine. This was another great play by Carrington Valentine on Romeo Doubs. Again, Jordan Love just letting his guys play here. A fade route near the end zone, inside the red zone. Jordan Love trying to find Romeo Doubs and give him a chance to come down with this football. It's a nicely thrown ball. It's just a great defensive rep by Carrington Valentine, remaining physical. The hand fighting's happening there, really using his boundary well, forcing Romeo Doubs to the outside, and then almost coming up with an absolutely insane interception. Nate Hobbs was out of this practice with a knee injury, so we'll see how long he's out, but that gives Carrington Valentine a lot of opportunity to showcase, hey, I can be a starting cornerback in this defense, and he's looked like it thus far through training camp. Really nice rep here against Romeo Doubs. A couple more clips. Here's one on defense with the third team in a live tackling drill, and we have undrafted free agent linebacker out of Kentucky, Juwan Johnson, shooting through and making a nice tackle for loss on Israel Abani-Kanda. Juwan Johnson fighting for a linebacker spot on this team between Isaiah Simmons, himself, Christian Welch. Likely will end up being a practice squad guy, but he showcases a lot of potential. Former Georgia Bulldog linebacker, transferred to Kentucky and had a pretty nice season last year, but went undrafted. He shows a lot of athleticism and a great tackle for loss here on this rep. This one was earlier in the practice, and it's Kenny Clark shooting through Elton Jenkins, doing a wonderful job getting through Elton Jenkins here for a would-be tackle for loss on Josh Jacobs on a quick run. This is why Elton Jenkins, needs these practice reps. He needs to get used to snapping the football and then getting his head up and blocking, right? If you're playing guard or tackle, you don't have to do that. You can kind of see what you're ready to do, but as center, you got to worry about the snap first and foremost, and that's a hard thing to get down. So it's good to see Elton Jenkins putting in the work to get better at center, and also really nice rep by Kenny Clark. He needs to have a good 2025. He had an injured down 2024 and hasn't had that great of a couple last two seasons, and we need him to really show up here in 2025 for this defense to make some noise, him and Devontae Wyatt. The final play I have is a really nice pass protection rep by Chris Brooks, who got a lot of looks tonight with Emmanuel Wilson injured. He suffered what looked like significant injury in practice on Friday. It was listed as only an ankle injury now, so got lucky. It doesn't seem like a significant injury for Emmanuel Wilson. And Brooks, this was his course to the roster, is being the best pass protecting running back on the roster, and he definitely is. Really nice job getting to the right side there to stop Javon Bullard on a wide open path to his quarterback coming from the opposite side. I mean, you could see it pre-snap. Brooks sees it easily and gets outside to put in a nice block on Javon Bullard. Really nice rep by Chris Brooks. I think he definitely makes the roster just due to how well he can pass protect. So those are all the highlights and clips we have from Green Bay Packers Family Night 2025. Now we head into the first week of preseason against the Jets this coming Saturday. Really excited for that, to see some live reps of all these rookies like Matthew Golden, Savion Williams, Barron Sorrell, really just start to go to work in this preseason, and we can start to see, these guys in live settings. But I really appreciate you guys coming by to the channel to check out these Family Night highlights. Again, go down and click that subscribe button to stay in the loop with everything Green Bay Packers this offseason, heading now into the preseason. Really appreciate you guys stopping by. I'll catch you on the next one, and as always, go Pack Go.